Okay, so because of technology, we have to do this changeover every couple of hours, and it boots you out unexpectedly, or it boots you out. It's very abrupt in its booting. I'll just leave it at that. So we just finished out with Jane Wynn and Melissa Day of Wind Farm Ecological Reserve, and they are a mother and daughter team working tirelessly to protect and care for Mother Earth and all of her children. So speaking of children, it gives me great pleasure to introduce my eldest, Melissa Ivy, who has traveled with me to Haiti more than one occasion. And Melissa is here today. She's not only our arts educational director, but she is also a full-time musician, and she's also a doula. And Melissa has a song that she wanted to share with us in honor of Earth Day. Thank you so much for being here, honey. Oh, we don't have your audio. Nope, no audio, still no audio. Oh, I think you heard something now. I'm hearing gremlins. This is not, oh, wait a minute, here we go.
Hello?
Okay, now we've got you.
All right, just making sure everybody's out there. Happy Earth Day. This has been such a beautiful day, full of so many of my family, siblings. I mean, we saw Tommy Nahulu a while ago, seeing Jane and Melissa from Wind Farm. Just brightens my heart. So my heart is very full and very hopeful, and it is an honor to be here with you all and sharing what I do, which is my love of music and my love of restoring Mother Earth. And the song talks a little bit about the life and birth cycle, life and death. And I have my little friend Merlin here, so you might hear him with backups.
Okay.
I will sing you to sleep and wake you with all love. I'll prepare pretty food, just write me more poems. Rising up with the sun, rising up our vibrations. Ooh. Rising up with the sun, rising up our vibrations. Ooh. Tending to the earth, it's her we all come from. Trust in death and birth, miracles happen. I will send you to sleep and wake you with all love. I'll prepare pretty food as you write your poems. Resting under the moon, grounding into our roots. Ooh. Resting under the moon, singing songs to La Luna. Ooh. Tending to the earth, it's her we all come from. Ooh. Trust in death and birth, miracles happen. Enjoy the paradise. Have peace of mind. Enjoy the paradise. Have peace of mind. all come from. Ooh, trust in death and birth, miracles happen. I will sing you to sleep and wake you with all love. I'll prepare pretty food. Read me your poems.
That was beautiful, sweetheart. Thank you very much for sharing that.
Thank you so
And
much. I'm so looking forward to hearing all the other presenters this evening. Great job on this, Ma. Super proud of you. Ma.
Thank you. It doesn't happen without Isla behind the curtain. We know that.
Isla, you're just like impressing the pants off of everybody. We love you so much.
Hi.
There you are. Hey.
So the next person is one of my oldest and dearest friends. So I'm actually going to come in and you get to see my hair, which I know you're.
No, we don't, because you're behind the banner.
Oh, well, good.
Behind the curtain.
Because I was going to tell you, I did it this morning, which is a big deal, especially during a pandemic, just for you all. And thanks, Mel. I really love what you had to share. It was wonderful. Thank you for playing for us.
Thanks for joining us tonight, honey, and sharing your love.
My pleasure. Pleasure.
All right.
I love you, sweetheart. Enjoy the rest of the night and the rest of the
Stay tuned. Bye. So I wanted to introduce two of the most amazing people that I'm hanging out with today. I mean, let's be honest. Right here, one of my
Alicia, I have heard about you for so long, and it is really an honor for me to be right here with you today. It's an honor. I'm really happy to be here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Oh, I can't hear you back. What's going on?
Check your sound.
Check my sound. Well, no. I am not muted.
No, you're not muted.
Oh, okay.
But Carmell might be. So I'm going to pop out again because I like behind the scenes the best. But I love you all very much, and I can't wait to hear Carmell's presentation.
Carmell, can you hear? Can you hear us yet? And now we have no audio. Let's see. Okay. Isla, can you, what do we do?
Her mic isn't connected according to the world of the internet. But I don't know how to fix that from here. I have an audio engineer here, but that's not helpful. Alicia, you should tell a joke while Carmell fixes that.
I am not the person to tell.
Yeah, I know, right there. I'm going to be here. I'll be your straight person.
Well, first of all, Carmell's she's gone out and she's going to come back in, and hopefully
I think that's smart. That's a good idea.
That will take care of it, and hopefully it's nothing more than just a little reset, as opposed to she's got to get in there and do something with her microphone.
Do you want me to play the conservation video?
Let's play the conservation video.
That.
Yeah, let's do that. This is home.
I am home. I give you comfort. I shelter your family. See me for who I am. Home, sweet home. I am your refuge. I am the floor that supports you. The foundation that keeps you steady. The walls that give you shelter. The roof that protects you. I am your home. If you don't take care of me, I cannot take care of you.
So I want to apologize because we were not able to remove Carmell's banner up top off during the video. That was another Conservation International video. So I just want to make sure that everybody is clear on that. At any rate, hopefully we have Isla and Carmell back.
Hi, I'll hang out with you until we get Carmell back. Interesting. I'm gonna hang with you. You should tell a joke.
I am not the joke person. I don't know any jokes. You
gotta know one joke.
I mean, no jokes. Absolutely none. All right. And
okay. Let's see. Does anybody here know a joke? No, they're not going to help me.
Let's see.
We could show the videos again from the students. You said you wanted to show those again later tonight.
Actually, that would be a perfect time right now. How long is that?
4 minutes and 47 seconds.
Okay, if you
not to be too precise, but I have been paying a lot of attention.
If you feel like we can do that and get everybody in, let's go ahead and do that.
I have no idea at this point. My brain is fried.
Okay.
Katie wanted to say hi again if we did that. So.
Okay, I don't know that we have enough time to do that, but
okay.
Yeah.
All right, I will add. I'll put this in, and then we'll go from there. Oh wait, and you will probably want me to remove this.
Yeah.
And let's see. All right.
I'm Katie, and Earth Day means most to me is celebrating the earth with kindness and respect.
I'm Lena, and what Earth Day means to me is to reduce, reuse, and recycle.
It looks like Carmell's here, so I'm going to try adding her in and see if that works. Hello?
All right, Carmell, do we have you now?
Do you have me? Can you hear me?
We can, yes.
Yes, you're a little delayed, but we've got you now. And I apologize to the students because we started to play their video again, and we should be able to play it again a little bit later. It was a repeat from earlier today. We were trying to fill in the air since I do not know jokes, and Isla was trying to tell a joke.
Okay, Alicia, we share this in common. I am joke challenged. I can't tell a joke to save my life. So
then we need to have the Carmell and Alicia, show or something like that.
Yes, we'll have the Alicia and Carmell can't tell a joke show. There we go.
That's it. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, I will take a step back here and give you the floor, please.
Well, I'm privileged. I'm honored. Thank you so much. So, let me just pull up my notes. The title of what I'm speaking about is "Miss the Rocks, Keep the Course." She yelled at me, "Don't look at the rock. Look at the path. Don't look at the rock, the path." We're on mountain bikes heading down the mountain, and Deb delivered this life lesson to me. My instinct was to avoid the rock, which meant looking at it. Isn't that right? Don't we all think that that's right? This is my thought as I was careening down the dirt path, but I listened to her and shifted my focus to the snaking track in front of me, thank God. I zoomed by the rather big rock, trying to jut into my line of sight. I did it. My question is, do you have a cause that you've invested yourself in? We all, as we walk through this life, we will find the causes that we want to contribute to or be a part of or invest ourselves in. People, animals, land, or life being abused that we've chosen to stand up for. When we've invested in a true cause, it may sometimes seem insurmountable, and it's easy to become caught up in the resistance and the pushback we inevitably encounter. As we see all around us, it is difficult to wake up from the status quo. Most people seem to easily accept social status, economic stratification, race wars, the ivory towers of education, and affluent industries as the definers of the rules. They proceed to stay inside these culturally and economically prescribed rules that do end up causing so much damage as we've experienced. For those of us who live and challenge the rules, it is crucial that we ask ourselves where we want to go, instead of only what we want to stop or change. Our biggest challenge on this path of change we are creating is becoming mired in conflicts. There are times for direct confrontation, of course. But we must remember, when we allow ourselves to be pulled into conflicts, we risk our greater vision and our direction becoming confiscated by the injustices, the unfairness, and the betrayals of those who are clinging to the status quo. We risk the situations and systems of inequity, greed, and exploitation taking our resources away from what we do want. We cannot force people to change their minds. It has never worked. So what can we do when we meet these challenges to change? And there are so many. First, I say we must be true instead of loyal. I mean, be true to ourselves. Truth arises from within us, and it is far better at persuading change with others than loyalty to a cause. And second, we must ask, am I standing for everyone in this cause, including those who oppose me, or am I standing against them? Nelson Mandela showed us that to stand for a cause will always leave a path forward for everyone, where standing against others in a cause will shut down those paths. And why? Because we hold conflict in our hearts first, if we hold conflict. We hold a cause without holding the greater principle to carry it through. The cause that we have must include us all in some form of greater freedom together, or it will fall short and fail. Third, we must have a clear, positive, and powerful vision of what we are aiming for. Like myself on the mountain bike trail, I wasn't aiming for the rock, I was aiming for the trail. That's where I wanted to be, where I wanted to be going. Have we taken the time to find the vision clearly inside ourselves, within ourselves? Or are we piggybacking off the vision and hard work of others? If I cannot stand on my own in a cause that I feel, then I'm contributing nothing. I do not have a vision for myself. This is a hard one. It's essential for us to understand that we have to be able to be clear in ourselves, that clear, positive, and powerful vision of what we are aiming for. We ourselves are the effective transformation in the world. And if we are not clear about where we are aiming, then all of that energy, all of that power is diffused. It doesn't go in a specific direction. We want who we are to be a contribution. I've never met anybody who doesn't want that in some way or form. That requires us to do the harder work of becoming clear about our vision inside. Vision will always carry further than conflicts. Think about that. The power of a vision is always greater than the conflict that is engaged in the moment. It arises in the human spirit, vision does. And if we create our vision for the greater health and sustainability of all in our cause, we are carrying a vision of greater freedom. We must find this third win, as I call it, in every undertaking that we invest ourselves in. And then finally, the last thing that I would say in how we meet these challenges is we must listen. This is the ultimate practice of self-awareness and self-discipline. To listen is to engage in relationship. We may have to listen a long time. We may have to forego being understood right away in order to understand first. And more importantly, to make it clear to the other that we understand. As we're willing to listen and to show understanding, we open a doorway for possibility that did not exist before. This is the possibility where we and those at opposites can meet in a greater vision together. And this is the old wisdom. Simply by who we are in relationships, we plant the seeds of change we want to see, even when it seems impossible. When we engage in conflict, we perpetuate the thing upon which the conflict is built. In these 4 simple, though not always easy steps, we begin to forge a new path that does not use conflict as the catalyst for change. Florence Shen said, "Nothing can resist a truly non-resistant person." Ancient cultures carried this wisdom by observing nature. All things give way. This does not mean being a doormat. It means we are clear, true, and strong in our own vision and cause. We include all in our vision, and we move with the moment to achieve the greater potential always. That is what I wanted to share today. Thank you so much, Alicia. Oh, I can't hear you.
Thank you, Carmell.
Very sorry about that. I had myself on mute. Yes, outside my door, my little neighbor, who was all of 2 years old, was having a moment. So I thought I didn't need to share that as you were sharing those beautiful words.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you very much. And Isla, thank you so much for inviting me to participate in this amazing day. This is really profound. So
yeah, it's been powerful. And so we have the banner up for you. And then if people want to get connected to you and the different offerings that you have,
yes, of course.
we want you obviously to send them on to your website.
Carmell,
Yes.
where are you based?
Well, I landed back in the United States and in Utah, strangely, right when the pandemic started. And so I am still in Utah. I lived here for about 26 years, and then I've lived for the last, 7 years abroad in different places all over. So it's kind of humorous that this
but we met in Utah, so it has some good qualities.
Oh, it has wonderful qualities. Yes, you're absolutely right. I was so fortunate that this happened this way, that I landed back here. So to answer your question in a roundabout way, I am currently residing in Utah in Salt Lake City. So, and you're in Colorado, right?
I'm in Colorado. Yes.
Yeah.
Before the pandemic, I would be here and then New York and then somewhere else on the planet every month.
I love that.
I've been pretty much here outside of maybe about 2 months back in New York.
Okay.
Colorado. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand very well what you're saying. It's been a big life change for me to be grounded for an entire year in one place.
Yes, I became very spoiled in that freedom of travel and experiencing other people and cultures, and I get cranky when I'm not doing that. I have realized I have my limitations. Yes. I'll just say I really needed this day. That's all.
Well, thank you for making it possible. Thank you so much. And it's
Thank
so
you
important.
for participating. We had over 60 presentations from all across the globe.
Yes.
And so it's been really inspiring. It's very humbling to see all the offerings that people have brought to this. And we're going to put things up on YouTube and Facebook afterwards, so you can direct people to see your presentation. And
great. And the others as well.
Yeah. So
that'll be fantastic.
And now my secret agenda has been revealed, because I've been wanting to introduce the two of you for a very long time. I figured, let's just organize an Earth Day. That'll happen.
That'll happen. This is wonderful. I can't wait for more conversation and to actually get to know you better in the past, like all of the stories you have and the things that you have done and the thoughts you think, because I've actually heard so much about you for quite a long time. So thank you, Alicia.
Thank you very much, Carmell. Yeah, thank you, Isla, for making this connection.
Yes, thank you so much, darling. Okay,
Bye,
my love to you both. All right.
Have a good day.
You.
Bye.
Have a rest of your night. Okay.
All right. I
So
will hop off here And
We
give
have
you,
about,
oh, go
well,
ahead.
we have about 5 minutes.
Mhm.
Yeah, we have about 5 minutes before Tammy comes on. Could we maybe finish out that video of the youth?
Absolutely. I'll
Okay.
make that happen right now.
Yeah, it'd be nice for parents to see it.
Hi, I'm Maria, and what Earth Day means to me is to reuse and to not litter. Earth Day means keep the earth clean, like pick up trash, which I don't see any trash out there right now. Plus, clean when we like go to the mountains and we see trash, we just throw it in a nearby trash, or we just slide down. And boop. What Earth Day means to me is cleaning up trash around the world, because if you go to the beach, you can pick up trash because people litter and it can kill off sea life, because fish can get stuck in Coke containers or plastic things. And you can help by picking up trash and recycling things. And that's what Earth Day means to me.
Hello, my name's Elise, and what I think is important about Earth Day is that you reuse, recycle, and reduce. Like this box, you can turn it into anything. And like you can turn it into a refrigerator, a dragon, anything you want.
My name is Rebecca, and how you help the earth on Earth Day is you make a better community, you recycle, and you also plant new plants, because then they will grow and they will help the environment. Hi, I am Astrid, and what I like most about Earth Day is to celebrate the earth. Like it's birthday, clean it up. Good, you should do that every day, but especially on Earth Day. Hi everyone! What I'm going to do on Earth Day and what it means is that I'm going to do the means first. What it means is that we're going to be responsibility, kindness, and pick up trash for anywhere. And we're going to clean from our backyard too. Also sweep the floor. Also clean from our house. And we don't litter. And what I'm going to do on Earth Day is that I'm going to tell my mom and dad and family, also family members, don't litter and be a responsibility and clean anywhere. Also our backyard, also sweep the floor. And that's all for my Earth Day video. That's what I'm going to do for my Earth Day video. Bye! Earth Day means to me. It means you have to help your community. You gotta recycle something that you can recycle, and don't litter. That's what Earth Day means to me.
All right, well, it's that simple. And our young people know it. Take some very, very basic, very simple steps, and it makes a huge difference in this world. It all comes down to love and respect for each other and the planet. So next up is someone who I love and respect a great deal. Tamara Cantave is my partner in all of the Haiti projects. And we have been doing this work together for, it's going on 11 years now. We have traveled the globe together for hemp and humanity purposes. And she has been really a tremendous mentor for me around financial education, financial literacy. And she does a number of trainings for people predominantly in the BIPOC community. And she's been working with Selah Marley. And Selah will be presenting shortly after Tammy. So let's just get to it. Get ready, get your pens and pencils out. Let's learn about financial education. And that would not be the classroom that we're supposed to be in. Here we go.
Greetings and welcome to Financial Literacy 101. My name is Tamara Cantave, but you can call me Tammy. I'm cool like that. I am the founder of Help IET, as well as a financial educator for the last 10 years. But enough about me. Why are we here? Well, we're here to help celebrate Earth Day. And I want to give thanks to Her Many Voices Foundation for the opportunity to celebrate it with all of you and also to share some critical information for your future. So, where do we begin? It's in the title. It says it. Indigenous Wisdom for Modern Challenges. What are some of the challenges? Well, the number one or the biggest challenge that we will face is going to be financial illiteracy. It is the number one economic crisis in the world. Did you say world? I said world. 7.9 billion inhabitants on Mother Earth, and 5 billion of us are financially illiterate. So what is that? What does that mean? Well, let's understand what financial literacy is. Financial literacy is defined as learning how to earn, how to spend, how to save, how to manage, and how to invest your money. So wherever you hail from, whether it is the countrysides of IET, Kathmandu, the French Alps, Canada, Colombia, anywhere in between, we are all playing this game. And financial literacy is where it's at. Okay? So now, in order for us to win this, in order for us to become really financially literate, we have to accept a few things that we share in common. Number one, Mother Earth. We're in agreement with that. The second thing we share in common is this financial game that we're playing. Yes, I did say game because it's a sport. It's not an individual sport. It is a team sport, which requires several different players on the team, such as you are one. You are the captain of that team. The next, it could be your accountant. It could be your banker. It could be your realtor. It could be your lawyer. It could be your investment advisor. Bottom line, anyone who comes in contact either directly or indirectly with your money is part of your team. So understand that's what it's going to take to achieve the things that you want. And you're not alone. And if you do it right, you're going to end up being the MVP of that team. You're going to take us to the championship. That's the whole name of the game. We're traveling, we're running this field so that we can get to the championship, which is your retirement and everything else that you want for your family. So that is the second thing that we share in common. The third thing that we share in common is the life cycle that we all have. Yes, we all have a life cycle. It begins with our birth, then it goes through the phases of being educated, then we become very responsible for our future, our dreams, our desires, and our families. And in that phase of responsibility, we have to be responsible for that retirement. Having worked 40, 50, 60 years, you want to be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. And that's called retirement, ladies and gentlemen. So you want to make sure that that is where it's going. And then After that, what do you have? You have to worry about the final expense, the final chapter, which is when we say goodbye to our families. And so once you've done that, and if you've done that well, the cycle pretty well, you have managed to package your wealth in a way that you can transfer it to the next generation. Okay, that is the life cycle that we are all on. And what is the last thing that we all have in common? The law of the universe. Okay, what is that? Well, it says that everything is energy. Yep, everything is energy. That means you, that means me, that means this pen. Everything is a form of energy. Learn how to manifest that energy into what you want to create, and you will learn to master your life. Learn those laws, and you will learn to master your life. What are they? It's the law of gestation, the law of vibration, the law of relativity, the law of polarity, the law of cause and effect, the law of transmutation, and the law of rhythm. Master these laws, and you will master your life. Okay, so now that we know what we have in common, let's get straight into what are we doing here. We're learning the game, the financial game. Right? So what is it? The first thing we have to know is that we have to build a proper financial foundation. Okay? Like any foundation, it starts from the bottom of what we're standing on. That foundation in the money game, it's called protection. Okay? You got to protect the biggest player on the team. You got to protect this player. If anything happens to you, the team captain, I don't need to tell you, the game going to continue. Most likely, but do you think you're going to win? Probably not, unless you have that protection in place in case you become injured, that the game continues. The goals you set can still be attained. That is protection. That is the first layer. Anything of value that matters to you must be protected from loss. Boom. Let's move to the next level. The next layer that we have to face is as we go through our life cycle, we are acquiring quite a bit of debts. Some of them are going to be good debts that are for goods that are going to appreciate. Others are going to be bad debts for goods that's going to depreciate. Your job on the team as team captain is to know the difference, is to know exactly how to manage that. That's the second layer. The third layer is the savings, the short-term savings. You have to be ready for the unexpected. So you have to have an emergency fund that you can tap into for emergencies. They like to say 3 to 6 months of funding to be able to pay your bills if you get injured. I like to say you need 1 to 2 years of emergency funds for the unexpected. Okay, but that's what that emergency fund should do. The last phase, the last layer on that foundation, sitting on that foundation, is another savings, but long-term savings. That's for 30, 40 years, and that's where the investment come in at, where you're able to take 15 cents and turn it into $1. That requires that you use certain investment strategies to achieve that. So that's the fourth and last layer. It starts with protection, it ends with investments. You're not going to start with building a house from the roof down. So don't do that. So make sure you start from the bottom up, and your finances should be the same. Do not start investing money before you have protected what you got. Protect that first, then go ahead and invest. Okay? So that's the first rule. The second is, where do I put my money? Well, there are 3 places you can put your money. You can choose to put it in commercial banks, investment firms, or insurance companies. Now, they all offer you vehicles, accounts to put your money in. Now, what are they giving you back? It has to have the 4 cornerstones, the financial cornerstones. That is protection, that is growth, that is safety, and that is tax advantage. Okay, we already talked about protection, what that means, protecting your biggest asset and everything else that matters to you. That's protection. So you have to have accounts that offers you that protection. Secondly, the next thing we have to understand is growth. In order for us to understand growth, we have to understand Rule 72. Now, Einstein discovered that by taking 72 and dividing it by the interest rate that you are earning in a particular account will determine how quickly your money will double. So let's take this example. 72 divided by 1 gives us 72. So in this account, it's going to take 72 years for your money to double. How many 72 years do you think you got in your life cycle? Think about that. The other example is you have an account giving you 10% interest. Now, 72 divided by 10 is 7.2. So now, approximately every 7 years, your money is doubling. How many 7 years do you think you have in your life cycle? Do the math. Okay, so that's the power of growth, or Rule 72. Okay, so now let's move on to safety. In order for you to understand safety, you have to understand 3 ways money grows. It grows fixed, it grows variable, it grows index. Fixed simply means it's a fixed amount. 2%, 5%, it's fixed. Variable says that you are participating in the upside growth of a particular index up to 30, 40, 50%, but you can also suffer from the downside of that index, 30, 40, 50%. There goes the law of polarity again, right? So here we are. So that's what the variable accounts are. Upside, downside, it's all a risk. Now, the next one is the next label, the next account that we have to worry about is the indexed account. Now, the indexed account works this way. As you are earning interest, your account is growing. As the market is increasing, your account is being credited. But the second the market begins to dip, like everything else does, it will dip. The second it begins to dip, you would secure whatever it is that you have gained. You will not lose a thing from your earnings. It will lock in your gains before the crash, and so you will not lose a penny. And why is that important? Because we have to understand loss. If you have $100 in that account, in an account, that if you lose 50% of it, if you get 50% the next day, are you back to even? Anyone? Nope, you're not. Why? Because 50% of $100 takes you down to $50. 50% of that $50 only adds $25 to it, bringing you back to $75. You're still falling short $25 to be exactly where you started. So the goal is never to lose ground. Can't afford to go backwards. You got to keep your ground. Stay exactly where you're at if you can help it. That is why certain accounts have that protection that we have to be aware of. Okay, so now that's understanding loss. The next thing you have to understand is taxes. Now, when your money is earning interest, that interest will get taxed. You can either choose to get taxed now, tax later, or never get taxed. The tax now is self-explanatory. Now let's take the example of the tax later accounts and the tax advantage accounts. We're going to do that example by looking at 2 farmers. Both of them are going to go purchase $100 worth of seeds. One is going to choose to pay the tax on it now, and the other one is going to choose to pay tax on it later. Well, the one who chooses to pay tax on it later, both of them are going to be taxed 10%. It's going to cost $100 for them to purchase this bag of seeds. 10% of 100 is $10. The one that chooses not to pay the taxes on that $100 bag of seeds chooses to go home, plant the seed. When he records the harvest has grown to be $100,000 worth of seeds. He now has to pay the 10% tax that he didn't pay earlier. But 10% of $100,000 worth of seeds is $10,000. Okay. The next farmer realized that he might end up paying more taxes in the end, chose to pay the $10 tax right then and there. So he gave the guy $110 for his bag of seeds. And now he's done with him. He goes home, he plants it. He also gets $100,000 worth of seeds, but all of it is his. That's tax advantage. Okay, we got to search for those accounts. They're all out there. So now that you've gotten the basic rule, what else is there? Time. Time is everything. Money needs time to do what it does. Nothing, no one makes money like money makes money. But what it needs is time. It needs to mature. There's a time, that's the law of gestation at play. Everything takes its time to do what it's supposed to do. When it comes to money, money needs time to do what it does. The longer you have money doing what it does, the more it's going to provide for you in the future. You cannot rush it, so you need to start as early as possible. Okay, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Now you have just gotten a crash course on financial literacy, on how the game is played. So now, what is your job? Learn it. Excel in it so that you can be the MVP at the end. Okay, life is a race, but it's not how you start, it's how you finish it. Don't dwell on what you don't have today. Focus on what you will have tomorrow. Okay, and although life is a race, it is not a competition. Competition is for amateurs. Creativity is for professionals. Do not compete. Create the vision that you want and work towards it. And that is where the law of the 7 laws of universe comes in at. Okay, the law of vibration starts there. It's with our thoughts. Whatever we put in is what we'll get back. The law of cause and effect. But it starts with the thoughts. You have positive thoughts, is going to create positive emotion. Those positive emotion is going to lead you to commit certain acts. And those acts are going to lead to the results we want. You think positive, it's going to create positive results. You think negative, it's going to create negative results. Okay, so it's in your hands. You decide how you want to play the game. You have the laws, you have the rules, you know the cycle, you are the MVP. As long as you make the right decisions, you will be the MVP. And as they say, we are all born looking like our mothers and fathers, but we will die looking like our choices. I thank you so much for this opportunity. I hope you got some value from this, okay? And if you want to know where you can get more information, we're going to post where I can be reached at, and you can always give me a call, send me a text, the company that I work with. All of that will be provided for you at the end, all right? Everyone, be well and be safe. I'll see you soon.
Thank you so much, Tammy. Yes, I personally got a lot out of it. I didn't share this beforehand, but one of the ways that Her Many Voices is actually generating income is through the work that Tammy is doing, and Selah Marley, who's going to get on in just a moment here. So a portion of the proceeds of the commission that she makes through the work that she does goes back to Her Many Voices. Tamara Cantave is one of our board members, as well as my Haiti projects person. Selah, how are you, beautiful?
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. Happy Earth Day, girl. Happy Earth Day. It's been a beautiful one today.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been able to see anyone prior to you coming on today, but it has been pretty amazing. We've had people from all over the planet, and it's just been a whole lot of love.
So beautiful. That's exactly what Earth Day is about, actually.
It is. It really is. To remind ourselves of the connection that we have with each other.
Exactly.
We think, it's all, it's all about me, and I'm independent, and I got my own little island here. But
exactly.
we don't exist without the other, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I am you, you are me. Yes. So I was just sharing how Tammy, through the work that she's doing with financial education, Her Many Voices is the beneficiary of a portion of the monies that come in through that. And that now you are actually working with Tammy too.
Yes, I am. I am working with Tammy. It's so funny because I was just listening to everything she was saying, and I was so familiar with all of the message, because this is what she's teaching some what I call them, students. I guess our students. This is what she's teaching some of our students right now. guess use that to segue. So Tammy is a part of Libertude's literacy program. And so right now we have 2 running classes. We have financial literacy with Miss Tammy and nutritional literacy with Chef Nico. So some of what Tammy's, we've been going for about 4 weeks now. And Tammy has been just giving us so much valuable information just about, like she was saying, the rule of 72, indexing, making your money work for you, the fact that your money, money, what does she say? She says, nothing makes money like money.
That is very good. Yes.
And then also just, so many different beautiful, beautiful just pieces of wisdom and just information, knowledge that she's been giving us that I surely didn't know. So it's been very useful for me.
Yeah. Well, I am so proud of you and have really enjoyed this transformation, this process that you've been going through. We met a couple of years ago at Wind Farm, at the Wind Farm Ecological Reserve in Haiti. And you may or may not know, just a few minutes ago, Jane Wynn and Melissa Day were on. They did a presentation maybe about a half hour ago. Yeah. So everyone, this is where Selah Marley and I met, and we had this wonderful little connection, and we just kept it going. So I am so happy. What's that, honey?
Never forget, you took me to Cobleskill.
And I took you to Cobleskill. So Cobleskill is the university that I went to, which is upstate New York. It's an agricultural university. And Selah joined me, and we went to the university. We did a tour. She met a lot of the people that I'm connected with in that community. And
memorable, so much. I'm reminiscing on it right now. It was just one of the greatest experiences of my life, honestly. Aww. It was one of my first really solid introductions to just, I was farming, gardening, and just having that connection with the earth. I think one of those fascinating sites for me was the hydroponics. When we went in and all the tomatoes growing, I was like, what? It was just I took it upon myself to go back after that. Like I just went back by myself, me and one of my friends. So, and me and Caleb, we kept a nice relationship. We're still going. So
wonderful. That's good to hear.
Yeah, I haven't talked to him in a minute, but I definitely want to check back in with him because, man, like it's a school you want to enroll in. It's like, what? It's amazing knowledge. It's especially the idea of the farm to table,
Yes. Yeah. All right. Well, this might be part of what you're going to share with us today. I'm looking forward to it because I know there are so many aspects to the work that you're doing on behalf of so many. So I know you wanted to talk about, you were going to share a little bit about how you translated this whole indigenous wisdom to the work that you were doing. And what that meant to you, and that question mark when I asked you if you wanted to talk today. I don't know about speaking on indigenous wisdom, who am I kind of thing. And then your connection with finding out your roots from the Congo. So go for it, girl. I'm going to step back here.
All right. Thank you so much, Alicia. It's been a pleasure knowing you. I mean, all of our amazing Zooms where I just vent to you about the horrors of the modern world and you just listen like an amazing maternal figure. I appreciate it so much. So it leads me to this point. So I'll start with an introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Selah Marley. I am 22 years old and I'm from New Jersey, but I consider myself to be a global citizen because I had the blessing and pleasure of traveling the world at a very young age and just was able to travel the world for much of my life. So I'm from around the way, but I am the founder of Libertude. Oh, here it is. Wait, no, this one.
There you
Libertude. And, Libertude, we're very new. We were founded in 2020 I had the inclination of wanting to do something that March, but, after the very tragic murder of George Floyd, I could not help but do something. So a couple of my friends and I, we got together and we were like, yo, we have to do something. So we were just figuring out what is it that we want to do. First, we were recording the protest, doing interviews. Then we were we were like, we need to do something. So we came to the conclusion. Our first event, we did an open forum, and essentially the idea of the open forum was to, while there were all these protests going on, we were like, these protests are amazing. There's one every single day. How can we add and contribute and also, give a little spice, switch it up just a bit. So the idea of the open forum was because what we understood was that the incident with George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery and Elijah McClain and Ma'Khia Bryant, these are not isolated incidents. As a matter of fact, they're incidents that are a response and a result of a system that is oppressive in and of itself, in its nature. As a matter of fact, the system is doing exactly what it was intended to do, which is oppress the people that they brought here to oppress in the first place. So we did an open forum, and in that open forum, we discussed health, wealth, spirit, education, and safety. So health, that was things like food deserts, but also urban gardening. Wealth, that's things like homelessness and such low, honestly, dehumanizing wages, but also group economics, Safety, we were talking about, police brutality, but then also community support. How can we support each other? How can we take it upon ourselves to support each other if the system does not support us? Education, we talked about, the school to prison pipeline, but also how can we educate our younger children ourselves? Like, what can we do to help these children? And then spirit, we talked about the ways that this oppressive system has bled into the minds of ourselves and the ways that we kind of hold ourselves back, and what can we do to break that? So a big part of that open forum was just discussing these root causes and having solution-based conversation to solve these issues. So that was what kicked us off, and then we kept going. So the ethos of Libertude, I've come to realize, is about empowering disenfranchised communities. And it's not just limited to those situations, it's limited to honestly anyone, because anyone can be oppressed. There's so many different ways across the globe that people are suffering from the parasite that is modern imperialism and colonialism and racism and classism and these different isms that just destroy communities, destroy communities from the inside, from the outside. We witness it every single day. So that's just kind of our essential goal. One of my favorite quotes is that, you can give a man a fish or you can teach a man how to fish. So in many of our newest initiatives, our later initiatives, we've been slowly but surely trying to implement that idea. So we did also the Friendly Fridge Challenge, in which there's this, a little background, there was this Advent initiative called the Friendly Fridge, really huge around America, definitely very big in New York, in which people would donate their fridges and they would just post them up outside where they can just get some charge, a little like electricity, and you pretty much have the freedom to either give as you can and take when you need. So that was something that we started up in September, October, in which my friend and I, every single Sunday, really tried our best not to skip a beat. We would donate to these fridges every Sunday, just giving food that we could and filling them up and stocking them up. And, in doing that, we saw the real need out there. It doesn't matter what you look like or what your background is, or even people are in suits. Some people, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just, it was really touching, intense, grounding to see how many people were in need to that degree and how many people needed our help. So that was our second initiative. And right now we have the Libertude Literacy Program, which includes Miss Tammy and my dear friend Chef Nico. So we're teaching about financial literacy and nutritional literacy, which I think are two huge key things at this moment in time, especially after the coronavirus epidemic, where some health was such a major issue, and then also so many people got out of their jobs. So we just wanted to teach about we wanted to kind of empower people to know that, yes, so there are modern ways to help yourselves, but there are also some indigenous ancient ways that the earth has provided us. So with nutritional literacy, that's just us teaching about vitamins and vitamin A, vitamin B, the B12 complex, vitamin C, vitamin D, where you can get these things from the earth. So, well, I mean, I would love to have you guys tune in when you can, but a little secret is that vitamin A, the colors are orange, green, and red. And any fruit or plant or vegetable that is in those colors is going to provide you with vitamin A. That's just some of the great knowledge that Nico's given us, and it's going to continue to give us. Actually, Liberty Literacy program is going on right now. So that is Libertude, but I'm going to continue today. So today I wanted to come through and talk about essentially connecting disenfranchised, disconnected communities and people to this indigenous wisdom. So first things first, you know, a lot of the word, you hear the word indigenous, and already sometimes, for me at least, so personally, I'm like, am I indigenous? Like, can I speak on indigenousness? Like, what, you know, sometimes I think in America, because I live in the United States of America, we hear about one type of indigenous because that's who is indigenous to America, you know. But the truth is that we are all indigenous, and that is what I came to learn. So this summer, actually, I did a DNA test, and I found out that I'm still mapping it all out together, but I found out that I am partially from the Congo, the Bayaka tribe, actually. And that was just such empowering information for me because I did research on my tribe. I was like, whoa. And it's so funny because you get to, when you look more into yourself, you get to see like, wow, I mean, I'm like hundreds of years removed from my tribe, from my land. But, you know, I just noticed that there were certain traits that I still carried that were the same. So it was a beautiful thing. But, you know, continuing, you know, a lot of people in America, I feel like they're out of touch with their indigenous roots, and they feel like that word doesn't even necessarily maybe relate to them. But the truth is yes, we are all indigenous. And I think America, it does a great job of putting on these labels, right? These black, white, blah, whatever. And the truth is that, yes, you know, that color, that label, it does its thing, but no, we are all indigenous to somewhere. You know, like some of us are maybe indigenous to Sweden, some of us may be indigenous to the Congo, some of us may be indigenous to Indonesia, some of us may be indigenous to the Philippines, some of us may be indigenous to America itself. And I think that when we come to understand that and we come to make that connection, we can get in touch with ourselves, and we can feel a sense of connectedness to Mother Earth herself, because we understand that at the end of the day, you know, even with that, we're still children of Mother Earth, you know. And I think the biggest thing that I wanted to emphasize and connect with today is that knowledge, just understanding that we are all brothers and sisters of Mother Earth. It's really that simple, honestly. I mean, I wish it was a little bit more complex, but it's not. Some people say we're all from Africa. I personally believe that. So, you know, we were all birthed from this land. We took it upon ourselves to adventure and to settle in different places. But the truth is that Mother Earth is our home, and that's it. You know, it's these boundaries, these imaginary boundaries that we create to divide ourselves and dissect ourselves, they're truthfully not really real. You know, at the end of the day, we all bleed the same blood. We all have a nose, have lips, have two ears, and that is what connects us. So I think the biggest question is, how can we carry ourselves moving forward? You know, I believe that right now, our current society is extremely disconnected in many ways, in many ways, especially if you live in the United States of America. We are disconnected from each other. I mean, it's a very beautiful thing that we are on our computers right now and we're talking to each other, but you know, I'm in my room, you're in your room, and already that's like a physical disconnection. So what are things that we can do to connect ourselves to each other? And then also, not only that, we're disconnected from Earth herself. You know, a lot of us, we we don't grow our own food. We just live in a world where we don't even realize how disconnected we are from these rather ancient and indigenous values. So, and not only are we disconnected, but the saddest part to me personally is that in our modern society, though it might not be our individual fault, because, you know, I'm only one person and I sure am not like one of these large corporations, but our society just, inherently are destroying the earth. We're polluting the water, we're polluting land, we're polluting our bodies, and we're also polluting our minds. So I think I now want to segue into how can we cleanse this, and how can we create a culture that is more sustainable and that is in more harmony with the earth herself and her creations. So, you know, I personally suggest take it upon yourself, you know, be creative and think about it. But I'm going to give you some solutions that I think can help out a little bit. So, firstly, one of our biggest things that we can do is if you don't have the privilege to grow your own food, what you can do is start going to farmers markets, you know, and create a relationship with farmers, with people who are growing their own food every single day. And that's just already a beautiful thing, you know, so you can support local farmers, you can support urban gardens. If you don't, you know, live in a place where you are able to see farms or you're not as close to farms, there's tons of urban gardens, I'm sure of it, in your city. There's a bunch in New York. And just kind of coming back down to earth a little bit and creating a one-on-one connection with urban gardens and with your local farmer and the farmers markets, and just, you know, because a lot of what is disconnecting us is these humongous corporations that only goal is the dollar. That's what they care about. It is not us. So how do we kind of take their power away a little bit and reclaim that power and give that power back to ourselves and our communities, you know, our villages, essentially? And side note, really quickly, one of these are really, these principles kind of relate to that indigenousness anyway, because from my knowledge and understanding, one of the biggest things about indigenous cultures was the village, the community, and that one-to-one connection that they all had with each other. What's the word? I don't even want to say the empowerment, just that connection. I suppose that's the best word. The roles that they assigned with each other. You know, one person might have been the farmer, another person might have been the teacher. And these are still things that we actually do to this day. But because modern society has tricked us into thinking that these things are not important, a lot of times the focus is on vanity. You know, the focus is on, oh, how can I make the most money? Or, oh, how can I be the prettiest? Or how can I have the nicest clothes? And these things that truthfully don't matter. You know, you can't take them with you. And not only can you not take them with you, but they sometimes contribute to the destruction of the planet, you know? So I think just maintaining a balance with that. But back to solutions. So, you know, supporting local farmers, supporting your urban gardens, teaching children how to farm, you know, creating a farm to table relationship, and which is healthier anyway, because you know exactly where your food is coming from. It's trust. It speaks for itself. And it also doesn't support an industry that exploits people overseas. So that's one. And I think that, again, what we can do is we can help our fellow man, you know, our fellow community. When you see someone on the street in need of help, you can give them some help. And it's not even just that. It's like your family member that might need help, or your neighbor, or, you know, back to those like, hey neighbor, can I borrow some sugar? That type of relationship, and getting back to a one-on-one relationship with the people around us. Because don't get me wrong, it is a beautiful thing to be able to connect with people across the globe, but it's also a beautiful thing to be able to connect with your neighbor right next door, and your brother who probably is sleeping across the hall from you, or your grandmother that you haven't spoken to in a while, you know, and just really reestablishing those relationships and the importance of establishing those relationships and being there, especially in a time like this where, you know, unfortunately, right now, we don't always have the privilege of being able to be next to that person. But even if you can just check in with FaceTimes or check in, and because right now it's a time where mental health is so important. You know, don't get me wrong, or I'll just say this. We are social creatures and we need each other. So even if you cannot see the person physically, just checking in and making sure that everyone is okay and doing okay. So that's another thing that we can do. And I think that another thing that we can do is just getting outside and getting some fresh air. I mean, as a means of connecting with Mother Earth and just allowing yourself to breathe in the fresh, beautiful air that she's given us, that sustains us every single day. And I mean, if you're someone like me who lives in New York City, you have to go outside of this place. But luckily, I am blessed to have family in New Jersey. So I can just step out a little bit and just breathe in that beautiful, fresh air. I think more things that we can do are, if you have the ability, if you have the privilege, doing community circles, you know, and more community events like this, where we're connecting with each other, and more support groups for the people that need it. So whether you, I mean, my personal what I recommend is, or the people that I would be inclined to help out immediately, you know, single mothers who need help with just helping with their kids sometimes. You know, mothers need a break sometimes. And mothers, you know, they're the ones who are raising the new generation. They're raising the next group of people who are going to inherit the earth and inhabit the earth. So we should do everything that we can to support them and just support parents overall and support children, because it does take a village to raise a child. Yes, I was raised by my mother and my father, but I was definitely surely raised by my uncle, by my teachers, by my grandparents, by my cousins, by my mentors, by older friends. So just doing things like that to help support the children and the parents, but also, you know, people who have been unsupported by the system, helping them as well. You know, whether they were wrongfully convicted or whether they are refugees, whether they are coming from a negative situation, just helping your fellow man when you can. And if you need help, not being able to say that, hey, I need help as well, and letting someone provide you that assistance in any way that they can. So that's another one. And last but not least, I think that another way on this Earth Day that we can connect to that Indigenous wisdom, but also Earth herself, is just to, and this is just wild card, going out into the wilderness. I mean, you know, there are very few places on this planet that have not been touched by industrialization, and imperialism, but there are some. And I think that one of the rawest ways that we could connect back to Mother Earth herself is going out into a reservation or going camping and getting to experience Mother Earth in her rawest form, you know, and needing to be in a resort, not needing to, like, needing a car even, like, because one thing about, and this is Indigenous wisdom, you know, one thing about these modern societies is that we're so convenient, you know, we're so used to like GPS or the car or whatever it is, Uber Eats, you know, whatever. But how do we reestablish that relationship to Mother Earth in her rawest form? And because one thing we don't want is those muscles that we inherently have as creatures of the earth to atrophy. One thing I've noticed is that we have inherent and innate abilities, and that is what the Indigenous peoples knew and understood very well. Doesn't matter where you are from as an Indigenous person, they knew it very well. They followed the North Star. They knew what plant to eat, what plant not to eat. They had a natural encyclopedia of the earth itself. So I recommend, highly, highly, highly recommend just getting back in touch with Mother Earth in her raw form when you can. You know, maybe your next vacation is not going to the Hilton, maybe it's going to the hills. That was a joke. But but you know what I mean, going camping, like getting your internal natural compass back aligned and in touch, and seeing the stars again, seeing the stars naturally. Yeah. So that's that. That is my little 2 cents. I hope that was valuable information for you. It definitely was for me, because I had all of this come to me like when me and Miss Alicia talked, but also, earlier today, I was just like, what is it that I really, really, really want to say? And these are things I've been thinking about for a while, but it's just so important because, a lot of times when we hear the word indigenous, we think of the past, but also remember to think about the future and the present, because at the end of the day, we can only go forward. And the question is, how can we create a better future for ourselves and for people among us? And in this, we are able to create a relationship with our individual selves, but also the collective, with each other, and live, and also with the world, with the globe herself, with Mother Earth, and to create a stronger sense of harmony and sustainability in a way that is not so destructive. Because one thing is, we don't always need to dominate. I think one big thing about this modern imperialism is the need to dominate. That's another thing I almost forgot. Getting in touch with animals without having to dominate them and domesticate them and control them, letting animals exist in their raw form, and not being afraid of that. So this is my indigenous wisdom. So I hope that I was able to provide some wisdom and knowledge and information that you may find valuable this evening on this Earth Day. And I think one of the biggest things about this Earth Day that I came to realize is we want to honor the plants, yes, but we also want to honor all of the other creations that Mother Earth provided us with, and that is each other, the animals, the water, the land, creating and sustaining that relationship. So that is me. Thank you for having me today.
I find it really interesting. This happens periodically when you talk to someone and their response is, well, I'm not quite sure what I can offer, And you, my dear, pretty much summed up exactly what's been going on all day long with a tremendous amount of wisdom, amount of wisdom of how we need to treat each other, how we need to treat ourselves, as well as Mother.
Yes.
And all of the children, whether it's the two-leggeds or the four-leggeds or the winged, whoever it is, there's this disconnect that we have come to, and we are remembering ourselves in that connection.
Exactly. And, at the end of the day, Mother Earth is sustainable. Like, yes, we live in a system in which money exists, right? Money is cool, but that only happens in these industrialized systems, because when you step outside, you realize that Mother Earth creates things like this that feed us on its own. So that goes back to, that farm to table, in which you get to the seeds, these seeds, you literally can find next time you go out to eat, or you go to the grocery store, maybe you preserve I did this myself, actually. I preserved my avocado seed and I cannot wait to plant it, or your pepper seeds. And you realize that these things, they sustain themselves. So I think it's really just about re-establishing that connection and seeing that sustainability with your own two eyes and feeling it with your own two hands and understanding that it's a very real thing. But also want to say that you can find me right now, Libertude. We are working on our website, so I wholeheartedly apologize. But if you check us out on Instagram, Land of Libertude, we're here. I'm here. And I'm here to talk. I'm here to continue sharing this knowledge. I'm here to listen to knowledge. And I'm also here to connect.
So yes, I would say you're more than just here. You are fully present. And that makes the difference, all the difference in the world. I would suggest to you getting in touch with your African roots.
Yes.
Earlier today, we had Munta Jones came on from Tanzania. He has created a game, a virtual game. He's in the midst of it. He's got it almost completely done. And it is based on this indigenous wisdom, and often of the voice, the African female voice.
Wow.
And it is about connecting humans with animals. And really making that world work. And it's done without violence. It's done without guns, I should say, which is very key, especially today. We had Dr. Karambu Rigira. Karambu is from Kenya, and she spoke about regeneration.
Yeah.
We had Ulutosin from Nigeria, and she shared about traditional weaving.
Mm. Yeah.
Right?
I can't. I mean, yes, it's on my bucket list sooner than later to go to the Congo where I'm from and just to revisit my tribe. I actually was able to get in touch with this lady who studies them. They're actually known for their music. Can you believe that?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, again, with the idea that these things, they pass on, they continue. So they're known for their polyrhythmic music. But I can't wait till I can visit myself and just witness it with my own two eyes and hug and feel with my own two hands and get to know it myself.
This was such a treat to have you tonight. And you shared some things that we needed to hear. These are all things that we need to hear. We need to be reminded of.
Mm-hmm.
So I thank you for being that wisdom, especially for someone of your generation too, to stand here and to educate all of us, multi-generations. We get to learn an awful lot listening to you.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been an extreme pleasure, and I have benefited just as much as you have. So I just, having this knowledge, sharing this knowledge, I have to say it came to me as a channel. Like, I was just like, what? I was like, what is it? What is it? And I was like, yeah, it's this. It's connecting with Earth herself and establishing that relationship and understanding that Earth is sustainable. She is sustainable.
Yes.
And she does not do anything that does not sustain itself. So speaks for itself.
Yeah,
I was just the messenger.
I was going to say, it's very clear that it was downloaded into you and you passed the message on.
Thank you.
All right, so people can get a hold of you through Instagram, right? Tell us all the ways we can get a hold of you, and tell us the ways that the community, the global community, can be supportive and maybe engage in the work that you're doing.
Yes. So you can connect with me through Instagram, Land of Libertude. Right now, we are establishing our website, but our Instagram is very solid. We're here. We respond to DMs. So right now we have 2 ongoing initiatives. It is the Friendly Fridge Challenge, and it is the Libertude Literacy Program. So every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern and Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern. So Wednesday, we're doing financial literacy with Miss Tammy. So just coming in tune for that, listening, taking notes, if you need that knowledge. And nutritional literacy Friday at 12 p.m. with Chef Nico. And that is taking that knowledge as well. And just, coming in tune and interacting with our teachers. I mean, they love when people are there. They always are asking questions. They're always listening. And then on Sundays, we're doing the Friendly Fridge Challenge. So the thing about the Friendly Fridge Challenge, for the first 5 months, me and my friend Fournier, we donated to fridges every Sunday. And after that, we were like, okay, guys, your turn. So we are also partnering with our friend Kyla, who runs this, I don't want to call it a company because I don't like that word, but this group, Flavor Behavior. And what they're doing is to help reduce food waste. These restaurants donate food. So essentially there are friendly fridges across the nation. And it's pretty simple. Every Sunday, just if you have extra food or if you want to stop by a grocery store, just finding a friendly fridge near you and donating to it. You can tag us. We have a little prize just to, give a little incentive. But honestly, you can tag us. You really don't have to. It is nice because it gets documented and share it with, do our thing. But the whole ultimate goal is just about donating the food. So I have way more information on our Instagram, but just to give a little blurb about it and to share info. So.
All right, girl. Thank you so much for coming on, sharing everything that you did. You wrapped up the day to this point. That's for sure. Yes.
Thank you so much.
All
Thank
right,
you. Time. And I'll see you soon. Speaking to you soon.
Okay. Much love, Selah. Much love.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye. Khalil, Harmony, and Armando. Is that okay? All right, and we want to make sure that we got your audio. So Khalil, in particular, I could barely hear you.
Oh yeah, it's because he doesn't have a mic quite yet.
Okay.
Does this work?
Okay. All right, I can hear you. I can hear you, Armando. Yeah.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Or we just...
I can hear you. Your volume is a little on the low side, but I can certainly hear you.
Perfect. Well, hello, hola, sinjao, annyeonghaseyo, bonjour, jambo. We are so excited to be here on this international event today, and I'm glad to be here with some of my friends talking about how we're using the arts as a conduit for social awareness, social messages, and connection to each other and connection to the earth. And these are my friends.
I'm Armando Lopez.
I'm Khalil Simon.
And go ahead and tell them who you guys are with.
Oh yeah, we are the minds behind the Brothers of Brass organization, which is that link you see at the bottom there. So our roots run deep in racial justice as we met and came into our own as two Black and Indigenous people of color playing street music in our majority white city of Denver. So both of our histories are sort of a retelling of an all too familiar story of overcoming the generational challenges posed by the struggles of our ancestors being subjected to colonization, slavery, and forced immigration. So today, these histories inform our process largely through our message of resiliency, adaptation, and the courage to overcome and achieve in the name of Black and Brown excellence. So our band is an 8-piece multiracial group of all colors and creeds. Our presence on the bandstand and in the street, because we play a lot of street music, consistently serves to inspire our community as both a bright and loud example of what racial harmony can achieve. So it soon became clear to us that we had this profound effect on people after we met just playing street music. So we took up the opportunity and responsibility of imbuing that attention with message and intention. We give our sound to the communities and the spaces that are active in climate justice, abolition, food and distributive justice, workers' rights, and many others. So as a New Orleans style brass band, the intersectionality of climate and racial justice is a cornerstone in the cultural identity of our music. So as the Brothers of Brass, we started to provide economic opportunity to the musicians of New Orleans in our city of Denver that so appreciates their skills and contributions. So we subsidize travel and living expenses for musicians from New Orleans and Alabama and Texas to come out here and be a part of the group. So we've come to know that as kind of a cultural exchange program, might be the formal definition, but we just kind of started it as just a way to kind of just be in the world. But that cultural exchange has actually grown and evolved through harmony, which we've come to, so much appreciate. And she can tell you more about that.
Yeah. So I've used the band to help bring awareness to voting last election season. And it's been amazing because it's been really hard to plan events in a pandemic. And some people have used that as a reason to sit out. And I've used that as a reason to get creative. And so we utilized the band because I had seen them at so many of the protests, bringing not just a voice and loudness, those kind of things, but also joy. A big part of this is finding ways to be happy because this work is heavy. This work is a lot, and these times are hard. So when we partnered up, I asked them to go crash a street arts festival with me, and it would be one of the biggest outdoor events happening in Denver right before the election. And it was just really creative. We got out there, we got in front of thousands of people and handed out flyers about voter registration information and also for voting for climate. And then we took it to the farmers market. We took it to the parks. We took it to wherever we could take it to kind of spread that message in these times. And really important to me was finding ways to support the artists. Art is everything to me. Music, going to concerts, going to shows, dancing, having that vibe with folks. It's a big deal. And we...
Yeah, they can't hear.
Oh, they can't hear?
We can hear you. You're just, you're a little on the low side.
Okay.
Yeah, let me turn the gain up.
I'll talk.
There you go.
Sorry about that.
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah, so just doing whatever we can in these times to help save the arts and support the doers, the makers, and the creators. And in addition to that, we've become really good friends. So Khalil and I started going down to Mexico together this year and getting to go down there and see the places and meet through our friend Ziglali, who has the Awaken movement. She brought us down there and was able to introduce us to the real people and get to go to a fandango, which is where all the people bring their instruments and you have a jam session and they make a dance studio out of a piece of plywood and you dance all night and you make alcohol out of fermented fruits and eat vegan ceviche. And you get to come to people's homes and see where they meet their children, see where they pray, see their instruments, look at their altars, and just have this really great experience. She also works with a village called Chinchin Primero with these ladies who do the most beautiful embroidery work. And she has been using their embroideries to make masks in this time and then also make some hemp sustainable fashion. We'll have a video that will show you some of her fashions as, you know, really becoming aware of where we put our money, who we want to support and what we want to be, and keeping the arts alive. It's so important in these times. Yeah, so maybe we'll go to that video and you can see our travels, the people we've met, and some of the things we're trying to continue to do. We also took school supplies, art supplies, and we'll tell you a little bit more after the video about what we'd like to do next.
Isla, do we have the video queued up?
And while we wait for that to happen, a couple other things that I want to highlight in the video. Wherever we go, we kind of see the same problems, whether it's here in the US or in a Mayan village that doesn't even speak Spanish. A lot of trash is a huge issue for everybody. The single-use plastics, the lack of recycling, the lack of ability for people to do things with their trash. And the other problem is water access. When we were in this little village and we were bringing the kids school supplies and art supplies and playing with them in the park and doing a dance workshop, the number one thing that they said to me is, "Más agua, por favor, más agua, por favor." And it's something that I can't give them. And you have to think about that. For every time, these are people that have very little means, that they just want water, they have to pay for it, and it has to come in a plastic bottle. Then they have to deal with the waste of that. And so the people and the kids down there are all dehydrated. And it's that, and that might feel a world away, but that's the same thing that's happening here in Denver with our unhoused community, as I do a lot of advocacy here. And that's one of the biggest problems with our unhoused population is dehydration and trash services. It's a huge issue in our city. And I know we can do better. And using things like having our arts and bringing our awareness, I hope we can do more of those things. So, yes. Oh,
yeah.
Perfect.
And so let me get it straight. Did you guys all meet because you came to the table and said, you know what, this is going to help with the vote? Or is that?
So I can talk. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we got you.
Cool. Yeah. So I met Armando in, I want to say 2015, 2014. I grew up in New Orleans and we play street music as pretty much like a way of life. That's how we make our money. And I left college and decided to travel around the country doing that. And I came to Denver and met Armando. He was playing music across the street with another band, and we joined forces and we formed the Brothers of Brass. That's how we met. And we've been doing the Brothers of Brass for like the past few years. And through doing that in Denver, one day we were doing a parade for the city, and Harmony walks up and is like, "Yo, I got this event. I want to do this thing. Like, it's gonna be great and all this stuff." I'm like, "Cool." So we showed up and we did her voting event, and then we started talking, and we realized that we align on a whole lot of stuff, and then we started kind of formed this little crew, after that. So that's how we met.
It's been a really beautiful friendship and a really beautiful ride. One of the things, it's awesome. One of the things that what was so important to me to get passed, and I have a little picture here. There's a ballot initiative called 2A in Denver, which is going to raise $30 to $40 million in fighting the climate crisis. And it's amazing. And I use people like musicians, and I hired a street artist to make a poster. And we we had a hemp fashion show, and what else did we do?
All my friends from all over the world.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we did a hemp fashion show, and we did all sorts of creative things to continue to use the arts. It's been really exciting to figure out ways to support your friends, from the street artists to the musicians. We brought in dancers, we brought in slam poets, we brought in speakers, just really trying to elevate the message and to support the arts in these times.
The importance of supporting the arts, I talked about that a little bit earlier. I mean, artists are the ones who come to the table, and we get to generate a lot of emotion and impact. That is the power of being an artivist. It makes all the difference.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's greatly appreciated, the work that you guys are doing.
Thank you.
And I love the fact that you go to the streets, right?
Yeah,
You're marching on the streets, and that can really generate those juices for people.
Yeah. 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 We like the loudest. I mean, we like the only musical act that can probably do that. We like all horns. Oh, there it is. Oh,
that's not our video.
Wait. Oh, that's not it.
That's not the video. Okay. All right.
Maybe on YouTube, would it help to drop a YouTube link?
We're saying it's on YouTube. Would it help to drop
Yeah, Kalia can pull it up real quick. We'll get it to you. And while he's doing that, I want to tell you guys about what we're continuing to do this weekend for Earth Day. It's really exciting. We are coming together.
Everyone. I'm Selah Marley.
Nope. Those were pieces that we used to make the video. I'm not sure how it was.
You know, in a technical world, and we are artists, folks, it doesn't always go well. And we see that time and time again, as I feel like a lot of us vibrate at a higher frequency and we break electronics. So
I'm right there with you, girl. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, go ahead and drop it in there. And see if you can. Are you guys able to pull it from the chat? And while you guys look on that.
Yeah, I believe Isla will be able to do that.
Cool. Yeah, there it is right there.
Sorry, I am. Awesome. And yeah, we're just excited to kind of be sharing what we're doing. We're excited to see what happens next, and just being able to share what we do and hopefully get more support and help make the world a better place wherever we can. And Seven just, yeah, perfect.
There we go.
I just wanna go outside, man, and put this ass in the damn trash can and beat a man, shake his hand, play with the brass band, and chill at the bar, take a flight to Thailand. I just wanna go outside, man, and put this ass in the damn trash can and beat a man, shake his hand, play with the brass band. Like that. It's 20 now, time to clean the money up. We done made a plan, now it's time to follow up. 20 heavy in the weeds, about to round it up. We've been making music, now it's time to blow it up. We've been taking sips, now it's time to drain a cup. When they let us outside, we gotta fuck it up. If you play an instrument, better warm it up. Fist in the air like a swan wing, keep it up. Mask on, mask off, just to hit the scene. 600, 1200, flip it to a new thing. Sex toy sales up, bought one for the queen. Say they got a vaccine, hope it ain't saline. That man Trump on the news looking real mean. Gotta turn it off, gotta keep the mind clean. Think outside the box like Larry Merchant Hurricane. Clean your money up and stay your ass out of quarantine. I just wanna go outside, man, and put this ass in the damn trash can and beat a man, shake his hand, play with the brass band, and chill at the bar, take a flight to Thailand. I just wanna go outside, man, and put this ass in the damn trash can and beat a man, shake his hand, play with the brass band. We still getting money, though we ran up $100 grand.
It's been a long year, trying to find a way to cope and keep my mind clear. Protesting in the street, shed a few tears. Need to pour a couple drinks, have a few beers. Now it's a new year, feel like nothing changed. Lil Johnny cutting checks like some spare change. People turning to the pills, going insane, getting fucked up to pass the time. So come on, baby, ride with me and we can get sober. We can chill and kick back, and if you're feeling vibes with me and you're living this wrong, yeah, I'ma treat you like a snack that you is now. Know that you've been feeling cooped up and stressed out. I took the time to get my group back and flash out all the ways that I've been let down and left out, and now I'm coming back stronger. See, I've been formulating the grand brain playing to rule over this magical world like fucking ass land. Drop a couple hits, take the band out of Thailand, and stop the cuddle with some fake bitches with spray tans. Go outside for
She looking good. What's up? Come on, let's go.
Setting yet another daily world record. Each President Trump for a second time.
Elon Musk has become the world's richest person with a fortune of $100 billion.
As the pandemic spirals further out of control.
While the war is going on in Bitcoin, the COVID vaccine distribution mess. I just want to go outside, man, and put this glass in the goddamn trash can and beat a man, shake his hand, play with the brass band, and chill at the door and take a flight to Thailand. I just want to go outside, man, and put this glass in the goddamn trash can and beat a man, shake his hand, play with the brass band. We still getting money, though. We ran up $100 grand.
So those are some of the things that we have been up to this year.
We lost your audio again, so you gotta bump that up.
Yes, these are the things that we have been up to. And again, not a technology person, a people person, a magic person, technology, that sort of thing. But yeah, we get out there and we talk to the musicians, we talk to the artists, we go out in the streets and we talk to the unhoused people. We're out here talking to everybody. And it's a big deal in these times. So that principle of Ubuntu that we were talking to earlier, that we are all connected and what we do affects all of us. And we need to be really a lot more mindful of that. And coming back to our work on 2A, why that's so important is that started with a group called Resilient Denver that had about 8 people who were passionate about pushing the city on fighting the climate crisis, who pushed to create a climate office, who pushed to get this ballot initiative through. And now we're going to raise $30 to $40 million a year, with 50% of the funds going back to Black, Brown, Indigenous community and those most impacted by pollution. And nothing like that has ever been done before. And another reason why that's so exciting is that our man Armando right here is on the Sustainability Advisory Council and even a voting member of that, who will have direct say on how those funds are spent. And so how this union and our friendship has transpired into real action and real dollars and real change is motivational. And I encourage everyone to go out in their city and to keep doing this. So yeah, I'll pass it to, sorry, go ahead, Alicia.
All right, I just, I know that we're starting to run short on time, but I want to make sure everybody has the ability to have access to you. So how do we contact you? Because I know you guys are needing support, right? We want to be able to help our neighbors, our community.
Thanks so much. Yeah, you just dropped the link there. Brothersofbrass.band is the Brothers of Brass band, and you can look us up to reach any of us. Check out the blackbrassinitiative.org. That's what Armando was talking about earlier, the cultural exchange program where we bring musicians from New Orleans out to Colorado. You can reach us there. Same thing on social media, Brothers of Brass. Just look up Brothers of Brass, and you can contact us that way for the most part.
Do you have a final?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to thank Harmony one more time for her work on the initiative 2A. So if you have the organization and ability to potentially petition or try to put something on the ballot in your city, highly recommend a similar initiative. And you can look at Denver's Climate Protection Fund if you just want to search that. And maybe if you need a stencil or an idea of how that can work. So all it is just a 0.25% sales tax on in the city that goes toward this Climate Protection Fund, which is then used to create green jobs, incentivize renewable energy resources, and just a whole bunch of other really awesome equitable stuff. So, and as we know, climate justice is social justice. So, and on Earth Day, it's important to remember.
I just want to do a little plug here. Harmony is she's just a wonderful ally. She really is a wonderful ally.
Yes.
I feel fortunate that we get to work with her.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you for letting us be a part. We're so grateful for you and all that you do.
Thank you all, and thank you to Zitlali as well. All right. Okay, guys. All right, so we have sky. Let's look up.
Look up. There I am. I am the sky. I am a warm and protective blanket wrapped around everyone on Earth. I can bring clouds, rain, and wind. I can be an ice storm. Without me, you'd fry. Every day, I am the breath you take in. Yet you are making me sick. I am congested, off balance, polluted. You see, I am more delicate than you think. It took millions of years to get it just right. My perfect mix of gases, temperature, and weather that you enjoy. But now your cars, your factories, and dust, they have pushed me past the limit. And you wonder why my typhoons and tornadoes are more intense, more frequent. I have become unpredictable. Less rain here, a lot more rain there. Hotter summers, colder winters. I cannot even control myself anymore. Enough about me. I will show my changing self to you in your days ahead. But in the end, I'll be fine. Give me a few thousand years. I have weathered trauma before. I am not worried for myself. Look up.
I was in the process of looking up, and it's something that I remind myself to do periodically. It's important. It's very important. I heard a long time ago that this family, this father was making sure that he gave his children kites. And when asked what was the significance of it, he said, I want them to look up. I want them to look up. So thank you yet again to Conservation International. All right, next up is Ramon, Granados out of Australia. He's in Perth, and he's going to share a little bit on hemp.
I'm very pleased to be part of the speakers celebrating the date of the Earth. My name is Ramon Granados. I am broadcasting from Perth, Australia. And this moment is just about 9:30 evening of Monday night. And I want to start speaking today, not for too long, because that may be repeating everything that we have been listening or will be listening during this event. But basically, there are many people that knows more in each one of the issues that we are facing at this moment. My single or humble contribution to this problem, global problem, as an engineer, civil engineer, an environmental engineer, is inspired or motivated by Mr. Jack Herrer with his famous slogan. There is one problem, but there is also one solution, and this solution is hemp. Oh, actually, he didn't say that. He says that I don't know if there are many solutions to solve the current problems, but I know that there is only one solution, hemp. Something like this. I want to say also that this is a valid statement that has motivated me in one way to be part of this industry. I believe that my humble contribution to manage projects around the world to see growing the industry as a whole is along many other colleagues. It is more than a job, it's a call itself. So, and this call is to give to society itself a solution that is real, that is technologically available and technologically possible. And I say this responsibly in front of this audience. Hemp is the only solution. And I say this also because I have been seeing how this enthusiasm has been growing around the world in the last 4 years. And even though I am not of the pioneers that have been 30, 20 years in the business, I consider myself a freshman as an entrepreneur, and also in this, providing these solutions to the hemp business. I also like to say that there are many ways that hemp can help. There are many ways that hemp can provide solutions to each one of the local countries, local governments in each one of the countries on earth. I am very grateful that many friends are working around the world, around the clock, calling the attention somehow in the best marketing solutions or the best marketing method to reach the masses, but above all, to reach the decision makers that are, at the end of the day, the ones who can change the law so that we can start solving all these kind of problems on earth. On behalf of my company, Hemp Engineering, on behalf of Biomass Engineering and my partners, my clients, it is a pleasure for me to have been talking to you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ramon. Because of the time differences, Ramon is 14 hours ahead of us. He had to submit a video, and he contacted us earlier and said, "I'm not seeing this," and it's because he's a day ahead. They already celebrated Earth Day yesterday. Jensine, my love, it is good to see your face yet again.
Sure. It's great to be here with you.
Thank you for joining us. Jensine Larsen is the founder of World Pulse. And I will leave it to you to talk about what World Pulse is. I can say that the reason why I know Ulutosin and Karambu today is because of World Pulse. That is how we connected. That's how we met. Oh, thank you for those introductions.
Well, it's so great to be here. What an auspicious day. I know we had a video lined up, but I'm not sure if we do. But if we do, we can play it. There's the World Pulse website below here. But I wanted to just note how interesting it is that today is not only Earth Day, but it happens to coincide with the International Day of Girls and Communication Technology. And those 2 days have never quite come together, but I think that is very, very auspicious because I deeply, deeply believe that technology is bringing us the opportunity to crowdsource the feminine intelligence of the planet and truly to help heal the planet. A little bit about me. My name is Jensine Larsen. I'm the founder of World Pulse and met Alicia Fall and her many voices. That was the seed of the vision when we met. And decade, well over a decade ago. And since that time, my job has been to listen to women who are voicing their hopes and dreams across every country of the world, because my work has been building and designing technology platforms that can truly support the flourishing of women's leadership, connect women's voices across the globe. And today, World Pulse is a leading network of 75,000 women and girls who are logging on to World Pulse from 190 countries. They are telling their stories in their own words. They're exchanging support and exchanging resources and really growing their voice. It's incredible to be in a social network that is so much more and goes so far beyond clicks and likes, but where you can hear from women, including Indigenous women, many from rural areas, from conflict zones, who have never before felt heard, and have a safe online space where they can feel not alone and really go on to grow their leadership and impact millions of lives. So today, the World Pulse Network leaders are reporting they're impacting 17.4 million lives with new and expanded businesses, programs, movements, and working on programs that are restoring the environment, that are ending child marriage, that are securing land rights, ending maternal mortality. And for those of you who have been watching maybe all day, if you've had the luxury of watching all day, Olutosin and Karambu really have also are really incredible members of World Pulse from Kenya and Nigeria, respectively. Oh, I see we have a video happening here, so I'll let it roll. This is a video that celebrates the power of Earth Day merging girls.
Chatting. Our conversations were just girl talk, they said. They didn't know that our connected voices would have the power to transform the lives of millions of women. So when we look out on the new world of gender equity that we created, they'll ask us, how did you do that? And we'll tell them, oh, just a little girl talk. Log on, speak out, rise up. Tell your story at worldpulse.com.
That's right. Girl talk can change the world. And something that's very, very interesting to me is that we are at this moment where actually we have no choice. We have to look at blending the power of technology with the power of some of the most unheard voices in our world today, the most ignored, the most marginalized and disregarded. And this is where we will find the path forward. I know many people have been talking about that today, but we are in a place of collective consciousness across the world has gone through a massive shock, a massive trauma with the pandemic. The burden has fallen most heavily on women, and they are really experiencing the sickness of an unequal and extractive society. And they're going to lead us to the bigger cure of healing this sickness. I see that what we are doing now is basically weaving a worldwide web of activated women, of girls, of gender expansive leaders from the ground up. And this is an immune system for the earth. It is healing. It will help guard us against future shocks. The voices of leaders like Alicia, the voices that are coming through her many voices, the voices from leaders from Haiti, from Indigenous leaders, voices that are rising through World Pulse. These are the voices that we have to listen to now. And sadly, half of the world's women and girls are still offline. And this means that there is a major gap for pathways to power for the future, for being able to voice, to network, to communicate, to collaborate at a global scale, to be able to advocate, to speak for oneself, to be able to access knowledge and information that is life-saving. And Yet the solution to have women and girls being offline truly lies in the leaders themselves, women and girls themselves, who are community leaders, who are very familiar with who the most in need are, whether they are communities with adolescent girls, those with disabilities, the widows, those that are the hardest to reach, that are experiencing the brunt of the pandemic and more. It's those wired women leaders and girls who are connected to technology that really have their fingers on the keyboard and their feet on the ground, and they are rising to the moment with the tech, and they are bridges. They are becoming bridges to bring this huge wave of voices online. They're using tech to lift their communities. They are creating rapid response lifelines to government services. They are basically exchanging information on how to build masks, make soap, do community gardens, how to be there for those with disabilities, joining digital protests, exchanging health information, advising on how to survive through homeschooling, life-saving services for those experiencing domestic violence, mental health crisis. There are these pockets of sanctuary and mobilization that are resilient, that are sustaining women and girls through this time, and building new economic models of prosperity, of abundance, and becoming multipliers of the projects of like what you've heard here today, and of what you've heard of her many voices, and Alicia, and the indigenous wisdom, the power of hemp for climate change. All of these things truly are innovations that can multiply if there is space and support to do so. If you think about it, some of the biggest movements of our time have come from technology and women. If you're looking at Black Lives Matter, which was founded by 3 extraordinary women leaders, the Me Too movement, for example, Ni Uno Menos across South America. These are women-led movements that started with a spark, that started with a dream, and were able to shift cultures and create earth-shaking change, including policy change, but we still don't give it enough of the credit and the power that it deserves. And just imagine if we were to really back up the resources and the strategic mind and the power of the world towards technology and the roots, the communication roots of this global network of women and girls speaking out. So I want to honor the blending of healing the planet, women and girls in tech today. And I want to close by saying the collective feminine intelligence of the planet, if we strengthen that, if we water those roots, if we nourish it, we are entering into a future that is healerful, leaderful. We're getting new models of prosperity and abundance, webs, resilient webs of collective care, and connecting the voices of women and girls, I believe, is the world's greatest security strategy. The bonds that we can forge being connected beyond the headlines will be transformative. And it's also our greatest global economic strategies, because currencies will rise and fall, but we are designing new ways to value caregiving and support. So no matter which way you look at it, this is the future. This is where we have to invest, and we have to listen and connect. And this will be the immune system and the resilience network for the planet.
Wow, Jensine, you know that her many voices, it's about moving passions to purpose for the betterment of women, children, and Mother Earth. And for me, those are the 3 silenced voices way too often. And I do this work today because of the inspiration of the work that you sparked years ago. The power of what you do on a regular basis, and how collectively women have come together to support each other and to rise. Those voices need to rise up. And this is a beautiful platform in order for that to happen. And I have a lot of gratitude that you do what you do, because you do it well, extremely well. And the impact has been felt, the ripple effect has been thousands and thousands and thousands of women and girls, many of which who felt alone until this technology was made available and they had access to you. And lives have been changed dramatically. Yeah. And I can't wait to see what is going to be happening in the future, around all of this, around all of the work that you're doing, around the technology that is out there. What does that do for us? Yeah.
Well, everything that you just said about the vision, that I could say back to you, everything, the thousands of lives that have changed, the webs that you have woven. And it's amazing that we both started our visions in parallel paths, and what we dreamed back then is as true and even more true today. And I think right now we're weaving our visions together. Here we are on a technology platform. You're creating an incredible tapestry of models, solutions, of innovations that's available to the public. And what we see happening is, as these half of the world's population of women, girls begin to come online and start to activate their power, we are going to see massive shifts in what is really valued and what is sacred and what is treasured for humanity. You're going to see the sacredness of the planet come forward in a much bigger way, and this much faster path to leadership for women and girls, and all those voices that have been suppressed. So I'm excited about the future. I'm more excited than ever. It's strange to say, but it's absolutely true. This ability to use technology to heal is very exciting, and it's very, very possible. We don't have to go down the shadow side, the road of damaging and destruction with technology. We can take the other path.
Yeah, and we talked about this a little bit earlier today. There's so many people, there's a lot of young people, but many adults as well, that sit there and they're playing these games, and these games are destructive. We are using technology in a very destructive way. And that mindset seeps in, and then we act out in ways. Hence the reason why we've had 46, 47, 50, maybe 50 after this week, violent acts with guns, right? Within the last month or so. There's a gentleman who was on earlier, I don't know if you were able to catch this. Munta Jones is in Tanzania, and Munta has created a game that is about humans working with animals to save the planet.
I love that.
No guns involved. These are the kind of things, when I think of technology, this is what we need. We're here doing these games. We are putting that mindset, we're putting that seed in our mindsets. Let's plant healthy, loving, kind, caring, compassionate, earth-friendly ways moving forward.
Yeah. And it's so possible. Just think about the decades we've had with mostly white men building technology and where we have today. Now there are thousands and tens of thousands of women and girls coming on as coders, as makers, as designers of the tech, and creating games like what you just described as well. And I mean, what are we going to see? We're going to see incredible. We're going to see some incredible innovations, and I can't wait for that. And I can't wait for what is next for Her Many Voices as well. We're on for the ride.
Yeah, we've got a lot coming up next, and literally, so we have one more video that we're going to show. But here we go. We've got Myrna coming up right after the video. Yeah.
Yay, we get to
Hold on the video. Hold on the video. Yeah. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that, talking about big tech, Myrna's going to be talking about big tech. So, Jensine.
All right.
Thank you, love.
Jensine.
Thank you so much.
Love you, Myrna.
So good to see you.
You shine on, shine on. Bye, everyone.
Yes.
I am Coral. Some people think I'm just a rock, when in fact I'm the largest thing alive on this planet. I'm so big I can be seen from space. But for how long? I grew for almost 250 million years. And humans came along, and now 1/5 of me is gone. Sure, I live at the bottom of the sea, and you might not see me that often. But you do need me. Do you realize that 1/4 of all marine life depends on me? I am the nursery of the sea. Little fish depend on me for food, and to hide from the big fish. And guess who eats the big fish? That's right, you do. I'm the protein factory for the world. Yet you raise the temperature of the ocean, so I can't live here anymore. And when big storms and tsunamis barrel through the ocean, I'm your fortress. Yet you tear me apart with dynamite and poison me with cyanide. Well, here's a crazy thought. Stop killing me.
Hey, you're done in about 5 minutes.
All right. Myrna, it's good to have you on. It's good to have you on right after Jensine. Yes,
Absolutely.
I love that connection. I feel like the day has been pretty much my entire family, so I'm just loving that.
Thank you so much. I'm so thrilled. I was going to say that. Yeah, we all, let's see, I met you through Jensine, I believe, right?
You met Jensine through
you. You're the yes, which is so exciting. So thank you so much. And Alicia, it's been such a thrill to host your Lunch and Learn events, and I know that we'll keep doing that. So people, please jump in and pay attention, and you'll be able to see more interviews ongoing for Her Many Voices at lunchtime.
Absolutely.
So I have to share, I know that you're going to show Apogeospatial in a moment here, the logo, or rather the URL. Following the video about the coral reefs and the health of the reefs, I just have to share the front cover of my most recent issue is about the health of the Great Barrier Reef.
All right, so we were in alignment.
Right? I was like, wow, that's perfect. That's great. So in this talk, please, everyone, forgive the quality of my video. It's my first attempt at really articulating what I believe is my actual mission here. After publishing the magazine for 18 years and really learning about how data from space is used to study the Earth. But then that brings me into studying the Earth and really doing it for the sake of humanity and for the sake of the living Earth herself. And I've been learning about this for so long. And what I've noticed is that chasm between nature and indigenous wisdom and indigenous ways and connection, energetic connection, and life itself versus some aspects of technology. And it creates, there's a separation there when you're talking about big tech and big pharma and big business. And I love that Jensine is actually one of the people and one of the organizations with World Pulse that's bridging this gap so beautifully. So it's perfect that I'm following her as well. So I'd love to just be forgiving, please, with my video. I'm just articulating something that I think is really important, and for more of us to do what World Pulse is doing is part of the answer to create connection, and doing so with technology as well. So here is my video. Greetings, beautiful people. I'm so thrilled to be here with you. I'd like to share my views on why the work of organizations like Her Many Voices and Geoversity are so important. Right now, hidden from view, quietly, a war is raging. On one side, we have Mother Earth and everything that goes with this glorious living ecosystem: nature, spirituality, indigenous people and their wisdom of honoring and connecting with the earth, as well as those who believe in natural healing and the body's ability to heal itself in some cases. Ultimately, it's about connection and ecosystems that rely on one another. On the other side is technology and large corporations, for-profit companies that take from the earth without giving back, tech companies that are pushing the envelope on what is morally right. And also on this side are pharmaceutical companies that want us to not use natural health remedies that have existed and worked for thousands of years. Just because it's legal doesn't make it right. Ask Edward Snowden, who exposed that the US government is spying on all citizens using surveillance without our knowledge as part of the Patriot Act, passed into law after 9/11. He is still living in exile to this day. It's not okay for our government to collect all kinds of data on us without our knowledge. Just because it's legal doesn't make it right. That was hard for me to digest as an American, as a woman who has traveled the world and who loves her country. I learned about data privacy through the lens of location. In 2008, I launched LBX Journal with my brilliant partner, Natasha Leger. We watched as people were giving up their rights to their location data by always leaving their GPS on their phones without thinking about it. Then I attended the Geospatial Intelligence Symposium and heard the brilliant Jeff Jonas talk about cell phone tower triangulation. Whether on or off, they still know exactly where we are. Most of us know this right now. An example of big tech running amok, as I call it, is the unprecedented form of power called surveillance capitalism and the quest by powerful corporations to predict and control our behavior. As Shoshana Zuboff says, she's the author of the book called The Age of Surveillance Capitalism, which just came out in March, and she was an expert in the movie The Social Dilemma. But it's not only a quest, it's a mission, and it's happening now. Technological innovation is generally a good thing, but there is a line that should not be crossed. As I'm saying these days to my clients regarding ethics in AI, just because we can doesn't mean we should. Technology is being used to maximize productivity. That's nothing new, but it may be going too far. To quote Dr. Tamsin Woolley Barker, the source of our problems is surprisingly singular. The tracks lead directly to the belief that living systems ought to be managed for maximum production in order to keep us safe from life itself. That's a dangerous delusion. Maximum production means maximum profits, separating us from our living systems. Tamsin is the Dean of the Geoversity School of Biocultural Leadership, which we have co-founded with other passionate people like Nathan Gray and Michael Schmidt in Panama. The Geo School is dedicated to cultivating and supporting young leaders who are facilitating biocultural renewal, the intergenerational transfer of collective knowledge and imagination, while preserving 12,500 acres of land in partnership with the indigenous Guna Yala, whose land is contiguous to the Mamani Valley Nature Preserve in Panama. Sharing this view with you is in part the culmination of my life's work. After 18 years of publishing Apogeospatial, a magazine about how data from space is used to study the Earth for the sake of humanity, I've learned about the essential life-saving tie between the health of the Earth and the health of humans, and how that tie is being severed consciously. Life is inherently unfair. You can't control if you're born to a farmer in Kansas, as I was, or to a lower class caste such as the Untouchables in India, or to a wealthy elite family. You can't choose it, and you can't earn it. So it's not someone's fault if they were born into difficult circumstances, and it's actually not to someone's credit if they were born into privilege. We have this idea that America is so great because anyone can pull themselves up by their bootstraps and make a decent living. Well, that's not true. Just like we've learned in the past year that although our Constitution says all Americans are equal, that's not true, as we've seen with the Black Lives Matter movement. We are learning the hard way. We are waking up to some hard truths. And the truth is, the cards are stacked against those living in poverty, and it's very difficult, if not impossible, to climb out. The most obvious example is how interest rates for credit cards for those with low credit ratings are about 34%. So the important point here is that everyone should have the human right to sovereignty over their lives, to choose how to live, and to make our own choices, especially about our bodies and health. America is not what our founding fathers intended 250 years later. Our systems were set up for the rich to get richer and the poor to struggle and for the earth to be sold, all in the name of profit and money. Some say that greed is destroying the planet and creating a new version of colonialism. This time around, it's a land grab and colonization by the wealthy. Certain wealthy white men are buying a lot of the prime farmland in the United States. Some of this land has been traditional Native American territory. Now do you hear the word colonialism? Some of these people are also investors in fake foods. So they're buying farmland so that it will not be farmed, so that natural healthy foods cannot be grown. And they also create fake foods. You can call this smart because they'll make more profits personally, or you can view it as unfair for the rest of us, who will not be able to get fresh food in the future as readily. The prices will go up and there will be shortages. This might be a good time to mention that Jeff Bezos, the billionaire owner of Amazon, recently bought Whole Foods. And Bill Gates has invested in lab-grown meat, Beyond Meat, which is a competitor to the popular Impossible Burger. But all of this does not bode well for small farmers like my dad, nor does it bode well for those of us who believe in real food. The people who are buying up farmland and creating fake food want food without farmers. Isn't that counterintuitive? Dr. Zach Bush speaks about this prolifically. One talk is called Food Independence and Planetary Evolution. I highly recommend his work. He says every single structure that we have to support big agriculture in this country is forcing the farmer's hand into poor agriculture and biologic decisions. Did you know that seeds themselves are being copyrighted and controlled? We need access to real seeds for real food to keep our bodies healthy in the way that nature and God, or whatever higher power you believe in, intended. I don't mean to demonize anyone personally. I'm sure everyone can rationalize their own behavior and investments. But some people are harming other segments of society, seemingly without realizing the harm they're doing to others. Justin Rosenstein said in the Netflix documentary, The Social Dilemma, that Facebook did not intend to cause harm when they invented the like button. But with teen suicide increasing, they have a responsibility to do something about it. Not intending something harmful does not make it okay, and it does not mean you're not responsible. So how far can we take the idea that technological innovation, such as making fake food, is always good and will save humanity? Personally, I don't want a manufactured world with chips in our brains and robots everywhere and fake. I want the sacred, natural world where we honor nature and spirituality and luscious, nutritious, real food. Russell Brand, who started as a comedian and who is turning into quite the investigative journalist, said in his podcast recently, materialistic values tend to lead to the extraction of natural resources, while spiritual values lead to connection. I used to try to talk about apogeospatial with friends and how data from space is used to create digital maps, and they could not understand why I care about geospatial data so much. Finally, I said, the reason I care about the Earth is because humans need a place to live. As sexy as it sounds to go to Mars, most of us will not be going. Even once the capability is there, and I have every confidence in Elon Musk to make it happen eventually,
we won't be able to afford it. We really do need to make sure we can live on this planet that we do have indefinitely. People are waking up to the idea that our planet, our only home, is in trouble, and therefore, so are we as humans. More and more funding is being earmarked for climate change from major foundations than ever before. Creating nature preserves, such as the Jack and Laura Dangerman Preserve in California and Geoversity's Mominy Valley Preserve in Panama, and regenerative projects are the answers. These include Her Many Voices hemp projects, Regen Network, which was just launched last week on the blockchain for small farmers to begin to regenerate their soil, and one called Regenerate, based in Boston, led by Archie Casnet. There are multitudes of projects like this. One of the benefits of the experience of 2020 was that people's lives were simplified, and suddenly the parks were full of people just wanting to get outside. We took walks again. We realized that getting into nature and walking with the kids or the dogs was just nice. It's good for us. One of the hardest things was being disconnected from one another physically. We need each other. We need to be connected to each other and to the earth. Did you know that the earth resonates at the same frequency as our brains when they are completely relaxed? I'm so fascinated by this. The earth's resonance frequency is 7.83 cycles per second, which is at the level in our brains where alpha and theta waves overlap. I'm doing some neurobiofeedback right now, and I have an actual map of my own brain, which is fascinating. This resonance of the earth is called the Schumann resonance, named for the man who predicted it. This resonance is subaudio. Of course, we can't hear it, but it's there. So the earth has a cavity, the space between the ground and the atmosphere, which is the air we breathe. In this space, there's a resonance because energy is everywhere. It's life. When we are in nature, we're literally bathed in this frequency of peacefulness and tranquility. How much more evidence do we need that we as humans are connected to the earth? Doesn't that explain a lot? And humans can control the frequencies, the energies that we put into the world from our brain. We can control them and how they connect to our hearts and with other people's hearts and with our minds. That's the amazing work of heart math. And in order to connect to the earth has to be alive. Her soil must be rich, living, full of worms and nutrients. Her trees must be reaching for the sky, creating a sacred canopy of protection. Her waters must be pristine, clear, and clean to drink. Her reefs must be vibrant in the ocean. And when she's alive, the gifts are so incredibly precious and miraculous, with sacred geometric patterns woven through plants and spider webs. I love that science is now proving so many aspects of life that people were experiencing for so many years, for decades, for centuries. And science is now proving that in tangible and provable ways. So you see, the work to save the planet is not only for the earth itself, but for each and every one of us as well. I truly believe we're going to look back in 20 years aghast at what is happening now. We will not believe what we did not see, much of which is right in front of our eyes. Maya Angelou said, "When we know better, we do better." Is that true now? I hope so.
You're on mute, Myrna.
I covered a lot of ground there. That was a little long.
You covered a lot of ground there, and it was needed.
Thank you. I'm trying to tell it like it is as I am learning deeper and deeper what's really happening. And I know there are a lot of positive forces and there are a lot of negative forces at the same time. So the more we know, this awareness, I think, is really important at the beginning, right? It's really important. It's a first step.
Yeah.
So I am so excited about your work at Her Many Voices. And also the work of Geoversity, which is a nature preserve and nonprofit organization in Panama. They're doing similar work to what you're doing in Haiti in a way, but with bamboo as opposed to hemp.
I know that we'll be looking into how the two materials can be used together.
They work very well together. Yeah.
So again, it's a learning curve for me. I'd love to bring Nathan Gray, the founder of Geoversity, into the room. And I'm so thrilled for you two to meet.
Hello, Nathan. It's a pleasure.
Nathan, thank you so much for being here.
Well, my pleasure. I'm here in Panama, Central America, and I was inspired, Myrna, by your commentary, and Alicia, it's an honor to be in your community. I'm so impressed with the remarkable. I have to use a phrase that I don't know if it's appropriate or not, but restless creatives, that people that are just never content to just sit with truisms and cliches, but are always going deeper and reaching farther. And you're both terrific role models.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I just want to introduce Geoversity with a quick statement. Geoversity is an ecosystem of leaders and organizations collaborating in the pursuit of breakthroughs in human design, enterprise, and creative expression inspired by nature. And what that also means is a lot of hands-on, on-the-ground actual work with the indigenous people in Panama and with bamboo building structures and having a campus in several locations around the world. Nathan, do you want to do a quick intro? And then I thought we could do our video as sort of a teaser and then go from there.
Well, thank you, Myrna, and thank you for the kind introduction. And more than that, thank you for all that you've done, particularly over the last 2 years, to be able to make an introduction like that, which has been to actually come to Panama with your delightful boy, Hugo, take time to hike with us in the rainforest, because you can speak from experience about why we're there, right? We're an organization dedicated to the empowerment of young people who are saying, we're not willing to take this legacy that you've given us. We're determined to go beyond the future we're getting to create the future we want. And well, so where do we create a campus? Where do we create learning environments for young people who want to get the skills and the life experience, the insights? Where can that be? And we happily, thanks to the indigenous Kuna friends, we ended up in Panama and ended up building a campus in one of the most remarkable, not only biodiverse zones, but because of the 7 native nations and a history, a masala of cultures that made the canal possible, it is a remarkable learning environment. And so for the last 20 years, we've been really pushing the envelope. And in all the different ways, we provide opportunities for young people to test their mettle, to learn from one another, to learn from their elders, and then with exceptional guests, CEOs and terrific writers and artists and scientists, we've created this learning, action, and dialogue community loop that's really magical. I'm so glad that you've been able to partake of it.
Thank you so much. And yes, I did want to share that you invited me and I went to Panama for the first time in February of 2020, right? Is that right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right before the lockdown. And I was witness to this transcontinental journey that the youth did from the Atlantic side up over the Continental Divide through the indigenous Gunayala territory down on the Caribbean side. And I was able to witness that as a mentor and as a documenter. And I'm actually would love to show the video now. That's really a kind of the youth's voices. We'll hear from them themselves after this journey and how transformative it was. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Sharing a path and a journey with people from all over the world, becoming one person, sharing our dreams and visions, and fighting for what we love, that it's our Mother Earth.
The best part of the trip was to see a transformation. A student who was like very cautious, very timid, and then to see at the end of the trip this like confidence, this excitement, this joy. It was just, it's really great.
Youth need to participate and need to go through this. It is the most challenging but beautiful experience anyone can really have in their lifetime. When I see Geoversity, I see colors, I see the world.
Welcome to Geoversity, a leading organization in experiential learning and biocultural leadership. We are dedicated to restoring and protecting rivers, growing trees, and cultivating the future. We are a new generation of scientists and artists, diverse designers and creative thinkers, business innovators and indigenous leaders, global influencers and policymakers, and we need you. The Mamani Valley Preserve, Panama. Our 12,000-acre home base, a living bridge between continents, species, and cultures. A place to listen, to learn, and teach from nature. We create transformative journeys with Kuna leaders crossing the Continental Divide, descending the sacred Rio Kangandi, and paddling out to indigenous island communities. This is a place of extraordinary adventure and global leadership. We are now building Geoversity's School of Biocultural Leadership, online and on location, on the edge of the jungle and the sea. Restoration and global teamwork for the future we want and for what the Earth deserves.
I love that video. We call that program the Life Changer, and you could hear in their voices that their lives were changed. I think that that trip changes the trajectory of the life of anyone who comes on it. And what we're doing is training future leaders, right? Youth, meaning people in their late teens, early 20s, early 30s, but the future leaders, and offering them a transformative experience in nature and learning from nature, and having so much time with that's hands-on in nature and building and doing things. So I love that program. I want to quote Buckminster Fuller before I ask you our next question, Nathan. Mm-hmm. You never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. I would say that is applicable to what we're doing at Geoversity. Would you like to share more about building with bamboo or whatever you'd like?
Well, actually, I'd like to bounce. I actually had the privilege of working with the late Bucky Fuller on a project. And he's one of my mentors, also the late Fritz Schumacher, E.F. Schumacher, Small is Beautiful. They were some of my elder mentors. And I think that the quote's important. And I'll share why that's so much on my mind. I was a speaker of a youth-run conference just a few weeks ago. And God, the work these kids put into this thing was so impressive. But I found myself feeling depressed because it was about mitigation and stopping this terrible pollution of the planet with plastics. And it was stopping a negative, mitigating, cleaning up. And I'm thinking, okay, that's half the story. But really what we're focusing on right now are creating the positives, is designing, in some respects, de novo, the future. And also, to another extent, a renaissance of old values, the values of our elders, the indigenous, the values of our peoples, our ancestors, that were on planet Earth before we began to separate from nature, before we saw ourselves as apart from nature, above nature, dominating nature. That the moment we moved into that worldview, we were on a track that has brought us to where we are today. So that we can focus on creating positives and designing. And, you're asking about bamboo. We love bamboo because it's grass, right? It's not a hardwood or it's not a steel. You can harvest it, make something, burn it up and make biochar and make the next thing. It's really perfect for both creativity and then, of course, as you push the envelope and do design innovation and material innovation, then you have all kinds of applications for what is really green steel, right? Including state-of-the-art high rises or even automobiles and airplane fuselages are being made with spun bamboo today. But the fact that you can create a bag full of sticks, give kids the assignment, build your own playground, build a tree fort. And it's what we want to do. And that's where we're coming from with what we call Geoversity design and a lot of what we're doing with bamboo. Get your hands dirty, build something, work together, and feel the joy of creating your own habitat and spend the night in it. So that's a lot of what we're doing.
Geoversity has built several bamboo structures that are just incredible architecture over the years. And I know you're also building your home out of bamboo up in the nature preserve, the Mamani Valley Preserve, and it's beautiful. Udo and I happened to be there and we're able to help a little bit. And we're building a bamboo ark. We only have a couple minutes left, so I'd love to talk about that in conjunction with launching our decade of making a difference called Geo 2030. And we're doing that with COP26 in Glasgow this fall in November. So, we have 2 or 3 minutes left. I'd love to hear more about that.
Well, yeah, we got a soundbite. Very quickly, our origins, we were originally for so many years called Earth Train because we used trains as a vehicle for youth, calling youth to action. We had our own steam locomotive. We did dramatic train journeys across continents, and it was a symbol. It was an iconic kind of breakthrough that reached millions of people with that message. Don't wait for adults to clean up this mess. Follow our example. Get involved. Take action now. And by the way, these aren't future leaders. These are youth in their teens. They are leaders now. They have bold plans, and they want to be taken seriously. And so we thought about that, and we combined our focus on natural materials, bamboo, and came up with the idea of promoting the bamboo ark. And in 2 forms, the rustic version that kids can build, or that a low-income coastal community suffering the effects of a rising sea or a flooding river can build with locally available material, obviously bamboo. And this is a design challenge that we're working on and working with our Kuna brothers and sisters and indigenous craftsmen here and there. But we're also working with a state-of-the-art design school in the south of France and one of the top naval architects in the world to create the high-tech version of the bamboo ark, which will be a state-of-the-art, the bamboo composites, eco-epoxy, spun bamboo. In other words, a whole way of creating green steel on the open sea and a voyage that changes lives, but in a vessel that really pushes the envelope in terms of green design. So that's what we're doing. Geo 2030 is a 10-year campaign, which we've launched with the bamboo ark journeys across seas, around the coasts. We're even going to do a bamboo ark regatta in connection with the ocean conference we're hosting in Panama next year. So stay tuned, check in with geoversity.org, because if you like Tom Sawyer going down the river on a raft, you're going to love going on the high seas on the bamboo ark.
And we also offer a gap year program for students. It's called the Geo Year, and it starts in October. It's part of our new school called the School of Biocultural Leadership, which we have founded in Panama, and we also have a Southern California campus. So, and I have to just mention that in any minute now, our website is going to be revised, and you'll see all of this information there. There's a lot of information there now, but there'll be even more about the details about these programs within a few weeks. So thank you so much to both of you, Alicia and Nathan, for helping me fall in love with this work. You know, it really, really has been transformative for me as well.
Thank you, Myrna. Thank you, Nathan, for sharing all that you had to share with us today, because we need to know about these things. We need to know about what's happening in Geoversity. We need to know about all of the issues around tech. We need to be aware of these things.
I will continue that mission.
Good. Yeah. Thank you both, and thank you for including me. And Alicia, we're looking forward to welcoming you to our jungle redoubt.
I'm looking forward to coming down there with Myrna.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Blessings. So we have a video coming out of Iceland. You guys are probably aware Iceland had an eruption. Their volcano went off, and it's the first time in 800 years. Here's a little footage from it. Thank you for taking the time to look at this video. I posted it because I just wanted to share one of the many things that is happening with Mother right now is that these eruptions are happening. There seems to be a surge, and not only in Iceland, but down in Reunion, the island of Reunion, there was an eruption recently, just this last week. And unfortunately there, what is going through the air is not healthy by any means. People are being told to stay indoors. As a matter of fact, in Haiti, they were told to stay indoors for this past weekend, which is where they were having their Earth Day celebration. These occurrences, climate change is a natural occurrence, yes, to some degree, but most of the issues that we deal with today are man-made. Man-made. So these are the things that we need to pay attention to, you know. We just have to pay attention. We have come to the end of the evening almost. So at the end, after Javi, we are going to do a continuation of the live stream of premiere on YouTube, because we have one more video to show. And that's Kona Marabals. And she was on earlier, and unfortunately, we did not have the time. Things got a little squirrely with our tech, so we had to postpone showing her video, which will be on traditional herbal medicines. So I just wanted to let you know, be prepared. Javi is going to almost bring us completely out with beautiful music. So, El Javi.
Alicia.
Thank you so much, my friend, for coming out tonight. We met years ago, and your music was just, I was entranced by it. So when thinking about putting this together, you came to mind immediately.
Yeah,
so thank
you
you very much. Thank you very much for spending this time with us this evening.
Well, it's a pleasure, and how convenient that we don't have to leave our houses to do all this now.
This is true.
Definitely challenging times, but we're making the best of it. Thanks for having me here and be able to share what I do. And I actually grew up. Both of my parents are environmental engineers, and to me, being aware of the climate change and the different problems that we've caused as humans, as you were mentioning, it's a huge deal. I think I need to talk to.
Yeah. I just put in the request to have the banner removed.
Yeah, or I have to go to the other side.
No,
instead of a mouth mask, now I have eye mask.
You are like the what's the masked bandit?
Yeah. Like, what was the name of Zorro?
Zorro, yes.
But anyways, yeah. So I hope we all change our habits. Life and the healing of ourselves and Earth has to come with personal changes even in the small scale as a one person. If we're all doing it at the same time, we can create a big impact on how we are affecting Mother Earth. So I'm gonna start the set with a song called El Refugio, the refuge, that means to me is a place to find comfort, and I think Mother Earth gives that to us all the time, and we forget. We created our little refuges, artificial refuge, but if we go out, we are an actual home. This is El Refugio. That was El Refugio. Well, this year definitely has been a crazy year. And during that time, I was able to release new music. And this song in particular, I think was very relevant. So the timing of it was perfect. To me, it's a song that I've used for my own healing in my journey in the past 3 years of my life. And I think it also reflects a lot of what we're going through right now, where we have to listen to that inner wisdom that we carry, that we all have. We know better, and I think a lot of the times we ignore that wisdom. We ignore that voice inside of us that knows right, and that's what this song is about. It's called "Whispers from Eternity." It's called Whispers from Eternity. I think I have time for one more, maybe. If I can.
Yes, you have time for one more.
Awesome.
Yes.
I want to play a Mexican traditional song. I'm from Mexico City originally, and I think I should represent the beautiful music of Mexico on this live stream. This is probably my favorite Mexican song. It's a beautiful tune called La Bikina. Just rich melody, rich rhythms, and chords, everything. So here it is, La Bikina.
El Javi, this was the perfect way to end a beautiful, heart-filled day. I have always enjoyed your music.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for honoring us this evening. We have up here your website, eljavi.com. Please, 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 everyone, support your local artists, please. And I know, Javi, you do these kind of shows on a regular basis, right? And it's a donation link.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Every Sunday night on my Facebook page, I go live.
Sunday night, what time?
7 p.m. Mountain Time.
7 p.m. Mountain Time. Okay, everybody, remember that, and join Javi every on a Sunday night.
Yeah,
Please.
yeah, it's a great way to finish a week and start a new one. With a little live music.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us, doing
You're
this
welcome.
honor. And
You're welcome.
I hope you enjoyed at least whatever you were able to watch today.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it's nice to see people that care. You know.
Yes.
It's important.
Yes. That was all of today. Caring from all over the planet.
Yes.
So,
cool. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you for having me.
Have a good night, Javi.
You too.
All right, everyone. Thank you from the very bottom of my heart. This was an amazing day. It's the first time that we're doing this, so we appreciate the fact that you were patient with us, and you gave us some leeway because we had lots of tech issues along the way, and it's the first time using this platform. I want to thank everybody who put this together. Aisa Lewis, who is that wizard behind the curtain. You saw her a little bit earlier today, off and on. Andrea St. Mars, thank you so much for the work that you did in helping with the banners. Harmony, thank you. Everyone who participated. This was quite an event, and especially for our first one out for Earth Day. So much gratitude here. So keep in mind, right after this, we have more of a premiere, and that's with Kona Marabal, and that is happening now.